Shaya and Enjoy Reacts. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing something really exciting. I've been waiting for this package for quite some time now and I'm really excited for it to arrive. Today I'm going to be talking about some BTS inspired makeup palettes. Now I first saw these on Twitter when the maker of these retweeted her designs and I thought they were, you know, just like concepts, but then I realized you could actually buy these palettes and I was super excited, so I hopped on and I bought 3 different palettes, mainly because I wanted a different kind of like color scheme between them and I really like the design of it. To start off, these palettes are from Beautonomy, which I believe is a UK brand. In it you can customize your own palette as well as the palette itself, so you can pick your own colors but also like create the outer packaging of the palette and all that. So I will link down the creator of these ones, but she has made BTS song inspired palettes where she has put the faces of them and the song covers kind of on the packaging, as well as name the different shades in theme with the song. So yeah, I'm going to show you the makeup palettes now and kind of give you a quick talk through about how I'm finding them, like quality and all that, as well as prices. So let's just jump right in. The first palette I'm going to talk about is the Singularity one. This one is obviously inspired by Tae's solo song. We've got Tae with the loved earring on the front of the palette and we've got the roses on the back. Like I said, it is a customized sort of like palette. In it I've got the colors in there already and you can see like the names of the different shades. Now the names given on this palette itself is not the name of the shade. I will show you the name of the shade in a clip a bit later on, but the shades essentially labeled by the creator is Singularity, Rose, Loved, Sexy, Phantom and Lake. So that's the shade. The palette does come with a little mirror, which is super handy, and you can pop these shades out yourself. It is magnetic, which is really nice. Now the Rose, Singularity, Sexy and Lake are kind of like a almost pressed glitter, sort of metallic, I would say. That's the finish. Phantom is like a satin brownie red finish, and Loved is just your matte black. So that is the first palette. The second palette is inspired by Mono, which is RM's latest mixtape. On the back it says the lyrics for Soul, if love and hate are the same words, I love you Soul. And obviously it has the design of what his mixtape look like. As you flip this open, it is white on the inside. We've got Tokyo, Soul, Moonchild, A Bad Bye, Good, Forever Rain. Obviously these are the names of the songs in the mixtape, and it also says Mono here again with the mirror. So Tokyo and Good are like, and Soul are matte shades. Moonchild, Bad Bye and Forever Rain are that sort of pressed glitter. Moonchild is absolutely my most favorite shade out of all these palettes. It is so individual and so super pretty. I will have up close shots of these later, but yeah, that one is the Mono. Finally, we have the Serendipity palette. Obviously, it is inspired by Jimin's solo song. We've got soft Jimin on the back here and then Jimin with the balloon at the front. My only issue is this palette came a little bit scratched up compared to the others. It's got a bit of marks on them. But apart from that, it's still really cute. On the inside, it's this beautiful kind of like aqua color. It says Serendipity up the top, and the colors are Bloom, Penicillin, Angel, Calico Cat, Flower, Serendipity. Bloom, Flower and Penicillin are a matte shade. Angel is a white sort of satiny glitter shade, and Calico Cat and Serendipity, you would have seen these I think in the Singularity palette. They're the same shades, but it's that pressed glitter once again. I'm actually wearing this whole palette on my eyes right now. Personally, the shadows are super soft, really blendable. There's quite a bit of fallout with most of the shadows, which is a little bit annoying, but it's not the worst. I've definitely had palettes with worse fallout, but overall they're really beautiful. I believe the shades are vegan and paraben free. I will show you close-up shades of the shadows in a second. Let's talk about the prices of these palettes. Obviously it's in UK, so it's made in UK, so it's in pounds. The Iron palette retails for £24, which is roughly how much? 43 Australian dollars, 31 USD. So you can buy these shadows individually. Each individual shadow retails for £4, which is roughly like 5 USD, 7 AUD. So it is cheaper to buy this with the customized palette than kind of buy an empty palette and then buy the individual shade. But yeah, this one is 43 and 31 US dollars. These two are £26, so £2 a bit more expensive, which is about 46 Australian dollars or 34 US dollars. I mean, it is a standard kind of price for a palette. So I'm just going to compare so you can see how big these shadows are. This is one of my Makeup Geek shadows, and if I put it on top, it is literally just a littlest bit smaller than this size. It is roughly more expensive, but I think it's only because it's in pounds. If you compare it to a ColourPop, obviously the ColourPop is a lot bigger in size as well, and the ColourPop is cheaper, but the finish is different. This one is more of like a creamy jelly finish. If you compare it to a palette that is much more expensive, if we look at Juvia's Place, so that is a huge ass shadow. In comparison, it is much smaller again. I'll talk about if I think it's worth it at the end. Right now, let's just jump into the shade colors and all that so you can get a good look at what they look like. So the first palette is the RM palette, and the first shadow there is the black shadow named Dark Night. As you can see, it is just a matte black color. It is packaged in this paper packaging, which is quite common for single shadows. ColourPop, Makeup Geek all use the similar packaging. As you can see, it is in this magnetic silver pan, and there is a little bit of fallout in the box, but it's nothing too serious. So this one goes into the Tokyo slot just like that. The next shadow is the Soul shadow, and the actual name for this shade is Dusk. I would describe it as a dark reddish brown, more of like a burgundy shade. Again, very, very vibrant, really, really pretty. Similar packaging to the black shade, and this one goes in Soul. Now this is my absolute favorite shade in all the palette. It's called Galaxy. It is this pressed glitter bluey purple shade. It is seriously so beautiful. I cannot handle its beauty. This shade goes in the Moonchild slot, and of course Moonchild's like my favorite song, so it's very fitting that it is also my favorite shade. That shade is probably my second most favorite. It is called Lightning. It is this silver glitter, just very rich creamy color. I love it. This is my second favorite color, so yeah, it's very, very beautiful. This one goes into the Bad Bye slot. And there's a cat here. Welcome to my life. Next we're looking at the Good shade, which is dark brown, and like the name, it is just a matte dark brown. Isn't that great? Yeah, and this one just again magnetizes down into the Good slot. Finally, we have Forever Rain. This is called Brat. It is kind of like a rose gold color, but more on the copper side. It is again one of those pressed glitter shades, and like I show you here, it is these shadows are paraben free and cruelty free and have a 6-month suggested shelf life. This one pops into the Forever Rain, and that is the RM Mono palette. Now I'm going to move on to the Singularity palette, and the first shade in the Singularity palette, wow, can I speak? The Singularity palette is Empire, and it's this rich kind of royal blue, but more on the purpley side glitter. It's a little bit different to the shade that was Moonchild, which is called Galaxy, because it's a bit more purpley, I would say. This guy slides right into the Singularity slot. Now the next shade is called Brat, and we already met this shade in the RM palette. This shade slides into the Rose shade of the Singularity palette. Next shade in this palette is called Dark Nights, and we've met this guy already as well. It is just a matte black shade. It sits nice and snug in the Loved spot for the Singularity palette. This next shade is called Mythi, I think it is called. It is like a true gold, I would say, like more on the golden side. Again, like more like the pressed metallic pigment shade. And this one goes into the slot of Sexy. Now the next shade is, I think, the only kind of satiny finish shade that we have in all three palettes. This shade is called Desi. It is like a almost duochrome. It kind of like shifts between a red and a brown, but in the packaging it seems more of like a dark brown. I would describe it as a satin finish. This one goes into the Phantom slot. Lucky Last is the one in the leg spot, and probably my favorite shade of this palette. It is called Center Stage, and it is adequately named because it is such a stunner. It is a green metallic with like a gold shift to it, but when you put it on, it's more of a darker, rich forest green with like gold specks throughout it. And like I said before, this one goes into the leg spot, and that completes the Singularity palette. So Lucky Last, we are going into the Serendipity palette. This one has loads of bright colors, which makes it super fun. So the first shade is called Kawaii, I would say, Kawaii. I have no idea how to describe it. It is a beautiful sunshine yellow color which is a shimmer finish. I would say it is very bright, very rich and fun. And this one goes into the Bloom Splot. Bloom Splot? Wow. This blue shadow is called Bluebell. It is a matte, bright blue color. It is very summery. It kind of reminds me of like a pool sort of shade. It just looks very bright and happy. This one goes into the Penicillin spot on the palette. The next shade is named Snow. It is this beautiful glistening white shade. I actually used it as a highlight in my inner corner as well as just as a highlighter on the cheeks. It is just like a shimmery white shade is how I describe it. And it goes into the Angel slot. Next, we've met this shade already. This is Mythi. This is that kind of coppery goldy shade that we saw in Singularity, but in this palette it goes in the Calico Cat position. Next we have the shade K-pop. It is this bright pink matte shade. This one probably has one of the most fallouts, I would say, when I use it, apart from the glitter shades, which makes sense. And this one goes into the Flower slot. Finally, the Serendipity shade is the shade Empire. This is a shade that we met in Singularity. Wow, such confusions. But in the Serendipity palette, it goes into the spot of Serendipity, and that is the complete palette. Oh, so I didn't talk about shipping. Shipping for this costed around 28 Australian dollars, 20 US dollars. It was $15.75. No, 15 pound, 15.75 pound. Is that what you say? 15 pounds and 75 cents. Oh my gosh, I don't know UK currency. Wow, I feel so uneducated right now. But anyways, it is a little bit more expensive, that is all I'm going to say, but it is customized. Obviously the site allows you to go on and make your own palette if that's something you want to do. I obviously bought this of somebody who had created them themselves. Their name is Vendor Hobitale. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I will pop the links to all of these down below. The only issue with Beautonomy is that they limit sales of palettes to 100 per day. So if you're not in that 100 for that day, you might have to wait for the next day. It took around a month for it to get to me, but they do have to make the palette, like when you place it, they'll make the palette, so it's not like bulk made already. It's custom made on the spot once you order, so it wasn't that bad in that sense for it to arrive. I think they're really lovely colors. I think the shadows are really beautiful. I don't think it's really worth that money. I feel like you could get a lot better palettes for cheaper, obviously with more variety, you know, such as like NYX palettes and stuff like that. I'd love to go onto the site and create my own and see what I end up with. The seller also has other designs for other songs. She has like 7 or 8 up, I believe, and I didn't buy all of them, so you can go and check them out if you wanted something different. I'll also link down to Beautonomy so you can make it yourself if you want to make your own palettes. Obviously this is not sponsored by them. I bought this palette myself and I wanted to try them I might have some follow-up videos where I create looks such as this one with the palette and show you guys how it works. Again, like the quality of the shadow, they're really blendable, really soft. The colors are really vibrant, as you can see in the clips before. These glitters, these pressed glitters are so beautiful. So the Moonchild one is like my favorite. It is so beautiful. That silver, the Bad Bye silver one, is also really beautiful. And I think it has great color payoff, although I would say that some of the darker colors do stain a little bit, like not like extremely bad. Like the green one did stain my arm when I did swatches for a little bit, and the blue one I believe as well, but everything else was pretty good. Now, all in all, it's debatable. I really like these palettes. I wouldn't buy more. I'm happy with the ones I've got, but yeah, if you wanted to give them a try, again, feel free to. I feel like they're really fun, and you could say, hey, I've got a BTS song inspired makeup palette when your friends come over, and I reckon that's really cool to show off if you're type of person. Yeah, thank you for watching this one. If you have any questions about anything in this video, feel free to pop them down below and I will get back to you ASAP. Thank you for watching. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.